Hi everyone, Brian here, welcome back to the channel, and it's nice to see you here. Well, I can't really see you of course, except in my mind's eye, where I certainly do see lots of beautiful faces out there, and I feel very appreciative that you are here, still watching and listening to me. Some of you have been here since the beginning of the channel, and some have joined me more recently, and you're all very welcome. I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate you interacting with me here, and I love our conversations, and I'm learning so much from all of you. And really, the reason I'm on today for this very short video is to announce that I am starting a new series on the channel. And I'm going to call that series The Awareness Inquiries. And we're going to be discovering, hopefully through this series, certainly exploring through this series, no less a question than who and what are we really? So this is about going a bit deeper than our initial assumptions of who and what we are, and trying to see if we can find and get in touch with our true nature as human beings. And the reason I'm doing this series, those of you who've been following my channel for a while, certainly those of you who followed the Tarot to the Nine series, which is still up if you want to explore that, will know that I've got an interest in the development of human consciousness, if you like, or let's just say consciousness, and also how that relates to the concept of non-duality, and whether we are, as we believe ourselves to be, separate beings rattling around this separate planet that's whizzing through the universe, with brains inside us, inside of which are created minds which help us perceive the world, or if in fact we've got that a little bit back to front, and everything that we perceive, the brain, the human, the earth, the universe, etc., is in fact a product of, or products of, consciousness. So what comes first? Matter from which consciousness springs, or is it more the case that matter exists within consciousness? And in fact, are matter and consciousness even different things at all? Anyway, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but those are some of the questions we're going to be grappling with on this series. Now, we're going to do it not just by sitting wondering at these things. We're going to do it by exploring some, what I hope will be interesting philosophical perspectives on some of these big questions. So we're going to be looking at things like Advaita Vedanta, we'll look a bit at Taoism, at various different versions of the Perennial philosophy. I suspect we'll pick up some thinking around Hinduism, something around transpersonal psychology certainly. We're going to be looking at mysticism as a concept and what the different mystical traditions can tell us. We'll be looking at different wisdom traditions from across the world, and we'll be looking at processes of self-inquiry, the kind of processes of self-inquiry that you see outlined in Buddhism and other philosophies. We'll also be looking at some more modern approaches to this, like mindfulness meditation and loving kindness practice. We'll be looking at the direct path teachings that some people propound, people like Greg Good, who is a very interesting modern philosopher. We'll be looking at self-inquiry processes like the work of Byron Katie. We'll be looking at the teachings of people like Eckhart Tolle and Rupert Spira, both of whom speak from a kind of non-dual perspective. We'll be discussing the kind of self-inquiry processes that were promoted by people like Ramana Maharshi and Nisargadatta Maharaj. We'll be looking at A Course in Miracles, which is a modern non-dual philosophy and framework, various different things. So we'll look at the Headless Way of Douglas Harding, a homegrown English British mystic who has had some very interesting perspectives on what he really was. And so we'll look at all of these different things, and if there are tools, and there are tools along the way that we can explore, I will be sharing them with you, and we will be practicing those tools. And the idea is that we discover together and for ourselves, but we're able to share together what we're learning through this process of self-inquiry and what these different teachings can teach us. And we'll be asking the question, are they all pointing to the same thing or different things? And do we need a philosophy, or are we able to find our way ourselves to the answers to these questions? So I hope it's going to be fun. I hope it's going to be enjoyable. I think certainly it's going to be interesting as we explore all of this. And once we've learned some of the tools and explored some of the philosophies, I thought what would be kind of fun to do is to apply some of them to big life issues like love and relationships and the body and health and that big old bugbear, death. And we will look at all of those topics through the lens of what we've learned throughout the awareness inquiries. So that's my little blurb, my little pitch for the upcoming series. I'm going to stop here, and rather than go into all the detail of it, I'm just using this as a little announcement. I'll pop it up on my channel, and you can expect to see some more videos following in the days and weeks and possibly months that come, because I suspect that this series will be something that I will not be able to rattle out very quickly, but will in fact find grows as we explore it. So what really excites me about this is I am very inclined to think that as we go through the series, those of you who are watching will be able to chip in with some of your own perspective and your ideas, and maybe some of the tools and philosophies that you've discovered that help you explore these questions. So I suspect I'm going to learn a lot, and I think if we work on this together, it will be a real opportunity for an ever-increasing number of us to get in touch with something really quite fundamental about who we are and why we're here. So again, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy this series as it unfolds, and I'm very much looking forward to sharing it with you. So until the next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you again soon. Bye.